So I am Garen Stout. I'm the Director of Client Success with Oasis Solutions. So just want to welcome you to our Sage 100 Fixed Assets webinar, or also Sage. I think we have some Sage Intact clients as well. So just excited to have you guys joining us. On the call today, who's going to be presenting is Ed Williams, and he is the Sage Fixed Assets Sales Engineer for Sage. So he is going to be presenting and doing our webinar today. So Ed, look forward to that.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ed Williams. I am the sales engineer for the Sage Fixed Assets accounting managers that are at Sage Fixed Assets. Now, I am going to present the webinar, and here is our start page. So I am a Sage Fixed Assets certified implementation consultant also. Now, what we're going to be looking at today is some logistics. Once the webinar is completed and the information is gathered, then you will be receiving a video within the 24 hours. We ask that all participants be on mute. Any questions that you have, you can post those in the chat session, and also we'll have a Q&A session. And if the session cuts off, please use the original webinar link to join back, okay? Time saving. A lot of customers ask about the Sage Fixed Asset Suite. There are 4 modules to the Sage Fixed Asset Suite, which handles the entire life cycle of your assets. That is depreciation reporting, CIP, and tracking for your asset inventory, and also the maintenance feature that's built into the tracking module, which will allow you to schedule maintenance events, and also you can use this for your life cycle management for IT equipment, okay? Now, this is an automated process. The Sage Fixed Assets application, depreciation application, has over 300,000 IRS rules and regulations built into it if you're doing tax depreciation. Also, we have over 50 different depreciation methods for tax and GAAP. It allows you to handle the cost adjustments for assets, transfer assets, and you can also full or partially dispose of assets. And it makes SOC compliance a breeze, okay? We also have standard reports built into the application, and also 10 additional tax reports that are built into the application, okay? Now, in the CIP module, what the CIP module does is it allows you to manage multiple projects at one time. Not simultaneously, but at one time. You can be in one project at a time. Now, what this allows you to do is to view assets in the CIP module before they actually become assets in the depreciation module, okay? Also, it will allow you to capitalize assets or expense assets, okay? And you can also easily run projection reports or reports out of your CIP module. You can have multiple projects in one database. I am working with a customer right now that has over 936 projects in one database. So it is very robust, okay? Also, now we look at the tracking. What exactly does the asset tracking module do for you? Well, I'll tell you. It's going to help you identify assets that are not on the books, so you aren't getting your tax credits for, or it will help you identify assets that are on the books but have long since been disposed of or otherwise gotten rid of. Okay, or it may be a pilferable item that is just, it walked away. So it is going to allow you to find those assets and identify those zombie and ghost assets, okay? Also, it uses when you create an inventory, it is going to push that information down to a card, to a scanner. Now that scanner is going to allow you to look at whatever information that you have as a part of this asset, okay? You can create dynamic inventories, which means you already have assets in your depreciation module, or you can create a baseline inventory, meaning that you want to go out and scan assets and create your depreciation information based on those assets that you went out and actually did a baseline inventory on. The downside to that is once you create that baseline inventory, it's going to send it over to the depreciation module. However, you'll have to go in and complete the book information to make that a fully instantiated asset that you can now start using to depreciate. Okay, there are different things that you can do with this application. You can get the status of a asset, you can get the location, the floor, the room. There are multiple ways that you can do this through custom field, utilization of custom fields, okay? Now, note, the fixed assets depreciation module and the fixed assets tracking module share the exact same data. So the information that you see in your depreciation module for an asset, as far as description, the location, the GL numbers, if you have those in there, you will be able to see those in your tracking module. Also, in your tracking module, you will be able to add additional custom fields. So you have 16 additional fields that you can use in tracking, okay? Now, this is our asset maintenance feature that is built into the tracking application, and this is only available through the subscription model. Now, you can have a vehicle. What do you want to do with that vehicle? You can go in and schedule maintenance events. So if a vehicle needs an oil change, you can actually go in and set up an event. You can identify what the event is and when the maintenance is due. All of this other stuff here, you can actually fill that in. Now, the estimated cost and the actual cost. What that is good for is you can run reports, or you can create reports that will show you your actual versus estimated. Then that will allow you to make good financial decisions on, for instance, a vehicle cost $5,000 as an example. But your annual maintenance is more than $5,000, plus you just had to replace the engine, plus now you have to replace the transmission. Now, to make a good financial decision, you can say, it's probably time to get rid of this asset, dispose of this asset, and purchase a new asset. So then you can do a like kind exchange when you dispose of an asset, trade that vehicle in and get another vehicle, and then you can start that cycle again. Also, when it comes to IT equipment, your IT people can use this maintenance feature that's built into the tracking app to say what assets are ready to be life cycled. So if I have a server and my life cycle management policy for the organization says that these need to be changed out every 5 years, now I can go in and group those together and see which assets are going to be able to be life cycled. So now I can do my capital expenditure projections for my assets for IT equipment, okay? And real-time transparency. When you run depreciation, everything about that asset, as far as the depreciation goes, is you will be able to see. Not only will you be able to see it, but it's also going to capture the history. So that's good for if you have an auditor that's coming in and they want to see certain assets and what the history of that asset is. You can go in and run the history of that asset. And this is your snapshot. You can actually present this to the auditor. Now, in the history, you can either give him or her a detailed view that shows every book that something happened in, who made the change or ran depreciation. You'll be able to print that out and give it to the auditor. Also, it allows you to attach images to your assets and any notes that you may feel that you require to further explain why something was done to a particular asset. For example, you have an asset that you've been depreciating for 5 years. Now, after 5 years, you have now gotten a rebate for $10,000. You have to go in and change that acquisition value of that asset to reduce that cost. However, you want to be able to show an auditor why those changes were made. So I can scan in that asset information, and then I can put that in the images and show them the rebate document. I can put a note in there saying that I'm getting ready to change the acquisition value because I just got a rebate, and I can now go in and change that. Now, I have done all of my audit trails that are required to justify me having to change the acquisition value of this asset. That's just an example. Now, we have built-in tax compliance, okay? This application will not allow you to do anything that the IRS does not allow you to do. Say, for instance, you have an automobile. That automobile is set for a 5-year estimated life, and you're using maker's formula, which is controlled by the IRS. You go in, you say, I want this to be a 10-year asset. You try to change that estimated life. The application is going to stop you from doing that. Then you can go in and look at the IRS table that's built in the application, and it will let you know what the IRS says the estimated life can and cannot be. That way it keeps you in compliance, okay? That's your accuracy check, and it's rules-based. So anything that the IRS does not allow, and I'll repeat that, the application will not allow you to do it. Now, if you get to the end of your fiscal year and you say, okay, we come to the end of our fiscal year now, I want to go ahead and run my fiscal year close. However, I want to check to make sure that I don't have any assets that may raise a red flag. Well, from there, you can run the audit advisor. When you run the audit advisor, what it's going to do is check all of your functionality within the application against the IRS rules base. Anything that is found to be an exception based on the IRS rules base, it's going to let you know. It's not going to try to correct the issue for you, but it'll tell you what the exception is it found, why it's the exception, and what the resolution is for that exception. It will then create a group under groups to where you will be able to go in and look at those assets that may raise a red flag. Then you can make the determination of whether or not you want to leave it the same and just move forward, or if you want to make that change so that you can include that information as a part of your filing with the IRS. Speaking of IRS and filing, once you run your fiscal closeout, you can now go through and run your different tax reports. You can run your 4562 report, which is your depreciation and amortization report. That is a fileable form. You just run that, export it as a PDF document. You can then send that over to your CPA to include in your taxes, corporate filings. They don't have to try to calculate anything. Also, you can see your 168 bonus allowance amounts and percentages, okay? And once you do all of that, you can produce your 4797, which is buying or selling of property. And you can also run your Section 199A reports, which is your QBAI type of assets that you may want to see. You can file those with your taxes also. I think I went to, and here under reports, you can actually look at some of the different ways that you want to customize reports. These reports in the application are customizable if you have the reporting module. Okay. And what this allows you to do is you can go in now and change different information that may be in your depreciation expense report. Now, I want to customize this report. I can remove information out of the report that I don't need, and I can add information that I do want to see. Then I can save this as a different name. Now, that is a customized report. The good thing about customized reports is they will show up in your reports menu as it will be indented, plus it will be a yellow piece of paper symbol. That means that you have a customized canned report. Okay, these are good for doing your data analytics, and you can group that information together. So say, for instance, you want to group certain classes together. So I can go in and customize my report. Then I can go into the report and tell it I want to be able to override the sort selection that's done. Then I can add in, hey, give me all of my classes, give me the subtotals of all of those classes. And when the class changed, then give me a new page. Now, what you can do with that is then run your data analytics from that. Okay. Secure cloud. Okay, these are the different cloud solutions that you can use. You can use Azure, you can use AWS. If you have a hosting provider that sets up your servers, you can install it on that platform also. Okay. Now we are going to go into Q&A.